What's going on, world? DS1 Ross. I'm back. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who supports me and this platform, Chief Stay Sleep TV. It's very much appreciated. Much love to y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a minute to come through. Announcements. First of all, this is episode 4 of Real Spill. Got my brother Constructive Criticism coming up here from the ADC. We'll be going into that today. Also, if you're here, make sure you like the stream, share it if you have the community tab, and we're gonna get it on, family. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Much love. Make sure you check out the other episodes of Real Spill, episodes 1 through 3. They're all available right here on my channel. Check those out. Send this link out. We should be able to start in a minute. Like I said, if you guys are here, make sure you like the stream. Share it for me, please. Very much appreciated. Also, if you like the content, don't hesitate to donate. The links are in the description. Or you can just hit the super chat button. Either way. But I prefer you hit the links in the description box. This is Real Spill episode 4 right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Waiting for my brother Constructive Criticism to come through. And like I said, we're gonna get it on. So shout out to everybody, man. Let's see who in the chat room so far. Alexander, welcome. Shout out to Hills Zen. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome, woman of the past. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. Much love. Okay. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Brother DS1, how are we today, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. What's going on with you, bro?
Everything is fine. Everything's fine. Just had a long shift, man.
Uh,
Actually, woke up, my eyes were red as hell. I'm ready to knock out after this, man.
well, we can go as long as you want, bro. It's not an issue. Go as long as you want to go, bro.
Oh, we cool, man. We're gonna ride it out. Um, and just get the proper message out here. Um, now I'll put a few disclaimers out, but I'm gonna let you do your thing first.
No doubt, no doubt. First of all, I want to say welcome. Welcome back to Sheep Stay Sleep TV. It was great, to get you on this episode, Real Spill. Of course, I checked the website out. I went through the exam, and I feel like it's a great idea, man. So first, I need you to introduce yourself and just a short overview of who you are, and what brought you to YouTube.
Okay, appreciate that, brother. Well, I won't display what my real name is, but most of you guys know me as Constructive Criticism69. Um, I am the chairman of the organization, and a little bit about myself. I originally was from Bronx, New York, uh, and I decided to venture out go through some culture shocks of the country, and being in different, you know, you know, demographics and dynamics with other groups of people, especially who, who our oppressors are. I start to notice little things that was kind of weird and funny, but at the same time, I didn't really pay no mind to it because I didn't understand to the depths I understand now. You know how racism really can be. Until I start seeing, the rise of Black Lives Matter and then increased brutality of black people at the hands of police. So after a while, I started noticing that, and I was wondering why was that. Um, so I actually went to school, did my thing in, you know, northern Maine. That was a culture shock because northern Maine is just nothing but openness, especially from coming from the concrete jungles known as New York City. So, going on out there, which is nothing but just nothing. I mean, you need a car out there, man. Or you're gonna be walking some miles just to get to a gas station, and there's none but them folks up there, man. And you can tell they have stereotypical um, ideologies and perspectives on black people. Um, so, I found myself on YouTube, you know, uh, I think I noticed Philip Scott first. I saw, the Advice Show, which is now known as the African Diaspora, I think, Media. I think that's what the name of it is. I think he changed it to that. And from him, I learned about Cynthia G, and then from Cynthia G, I learned about Tariq, and it's just been going on and on. And soon I learned about our greatest, like Dick Gregory, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Neely Fuller, who is still alive with us today. And I started learning about, how deep the history goes. And I learned about Dr. Umar Johnson. That's a big one. He actually helped me to sustain the consciousness in my life. So when I noticed those things and I seen things laid out, now trust and believe. I just don't believe everything everybody say. I do validate evidence. If you're going to tell me something, I'm going to actually fact check it and make sure that actually happened. And when you have people like these showing you these things, and it's actually true because it's there, there's evidence proving and substantiating it, you could either decide two things. Either you accept it for what it is and actually make changes to your life, or you could just ignore it and not do anything because some people just don't want to believe, or even with the facts and proven evidence in front of them, they don't want to, adjust their life. They wanted to say, well, it's the past, but we never move forward from the past. It's still happening. So that's just a little bit by myself. So I'm more I'm a gun owner, and I think training is important for black people in the United States because we're coming to a close in the country. We may not see it coming, but the rate we're going, like Jim Crow 2.0, is very real. Our rights are getting violated every day. The system doesn't do anything to protect us. And what I mean by system, I mean the group of people who run the system and who creates the laws and who enforces the laws. They never been on our side. They never will, but they're actively against us, as well as the mainstream media, as well as the health organizations that's supposed to be for us. We learned that obviously in Hurricane Katrina. That's not the case. And you have militia groups training in woods who claim they're not of white supremacist ideologies, but they are, and they were the ones in Hurricane Katrina killing innocent black people just because they were trying to survive. And the mainstream media was in cahoots with that because they had the narrative that black people were looters and that automatically paint black folks in a certain light. While white people were doing the same thing black folks were doing, like taking supplies out of stores and trying to survive, they would call the white folks survivors. So they weren't demonized for trying to survive. So we need our people to help people like that. We can't depend on them. It's not on them, it's on us. So that's just the idea of the organization itself.
Got you, bro. Totally. And I understand, why you feel the way you feel. For a long time, I've been feeling the same way. That's one of the reasons why, I definitely moved to you know, a, a, a state where, your right to bear arms is definitely exercised. So I totally agree. So what do you say to the people that say, I'm afraid of firearms? Because a lot of us that grew up in the neighborhood, in the inner city neighborhoods, especially our women, they a lot of them are afraid of firearms. You know, at the sound of them, they run. It's a lot of trauma behind firearms with people growing up in inner cities. So how is your organization going to teach people who are afraid of firearms that it's nothing to be afraid of, and this is something that is natural? you know um Defending yourself and arming yourself is something natural. It's not something that only soldiers do. So how would you teach people who are not very aware of firearms and who are afraid? Yeah, bro.
I apologize. Sorry, I was on mute. I just didn't realize that. um, well, first and foremost, I want to lay out a few disclaimers, if you don't mind. Obviously, I have to state the obvious because who likes to demonize black organizations. But we are not for advocating violence, obviously, and also we are not a crime group or a terrorist organization, known as BIE, Black Identity Extremists, or BEI, excuse me. Um, and we do not advocate for any harm to anyone. We just a group that learns history, understands where we're at, and we do not live in delusion of the realities we face. We actually are keen onto where we're at, and we're not going to accept the mainstream narrative that we are not in a system known as white supremacy. So I'm just going to put that out there. I am the chairman for now, but I will not be the chairman forever, which means this movement can live past me. So taking me out won't solve anything because there'll be somebody there to replace me, and you do not know who they are. So just throwing that out there. All right. So to answer your question, that's what I do about people who are afraid of firearms. Um, like you said, it is something that you shouldn't be afraid of because Europeans, or white people, you know, they've always used firearms to achieve their goal. Of course, with the help of a few COINTELPRO black folks on their side. But they always use the firearm and they use that to display dominance. So always look at the firearm as a tool. That's not that thing doesn't get up and shoot you on its own. The gun is not racist. It's the people holding it who's killing you. So the only equalizer, and just use a little NRA logic. The good guy with a gun will stop a bad guy with a gun. So in black folks' perspective, your black gun at the hands of a black person will stop a racist person with a gun to kill you. There's nothing else going to stop that. Not praying, not pleading. If you understand the history of Europeans, then you understand that they prey on the weak. They take easy targets like women and children. That's why you see a high intensity of black women getting killed. Sister that was shot down in Texas not too long ago. That will continue to happen unless you try to change it. You can't be you can't be trying to work it out with with the system. It's either you stop doing this or there will be consequences. If you're just going to say stop doing this and there's no consequences to back it up, or even people or a system of people to back you up, they're not going to stop. It's going to keep happening. So as far as people being afraid of firearms, I must say, firearms. I truly believe it's the way to your freedom. Um, Firearms. There's nothing wrong with the firearm itself. It's the people who use it, and the only way you could get comfortable with it is if you can open up your mind and try something different. Because yeah, they can be noisy, they can be loud, but when you get the hang of it, you slowly learn that you know it's fun. And black women are our dominant force, unfortunately, because racism has engineered a system where black men do not get the jobs and black men don't get the most education. So black women are the ones who are able to access these things. They don't have a record for the most part. Yeah, they are being incarcerated too, but not to the extent of black men. And they are the ones who are out here in the job and the workforce and in the system. They're the politicians and judges and so on and so forth. Black men have to catch up because systematic white supremacy has disadvantaged the men on purpose to cause a natural imbalance. Because we know most cultures, to some extent, don't get triggered, sisters. I'm just saying a fact. Some extent, women were dependent on men, and it's completely in reverse at this point. So women are our dominant force. And sisters, I have to say this: if you're afraid of guns, I need you to get over that fear, and we will help you to get over that fear. We will work with you. We'll fly you out, train with you on solo, on one-on-one. Try to get you comfortable with the idea because we don't want you to end up like that sister that just got gunned down in Texas like that. And there was nobody to assist that sister. So we are historically afraid of guns, and we have this thing where we feel like if we do anything to protect ourselves, that somehow that would make the threat worse. Like you're more likely to be killed when you have a firearm. Well, that's not entirely the case. Most black folks are killed; they are unarmed. That's statistical. A black person being unarmed, he or she is more likely to die. That's just backed by statistics. I mean, look at all the cases of black people being unarmed getting killed. So, am I saying having a firearm can't possibly increase that possibility? I can't say that because I'm not. I can't tell the future. But what I can say is you're more likely to die unarmed anyway. So, and I think you have a better chance of defending yourself from anything. I mean, it don't only just necessarily have to be police. It could be anybody. So, we do want to increase that that type of training amongst black people because we're far behind. We don't have the luxury of the government ignoring what we do. They ignore what the white dudes do in the woods. Those are militia groups that's protected by the same what's the shit called? Oh, excuse my profanity. The amendment, the Constitution, the right to assemble a militia and all that other stuff. Yeah, they can do that, and they will go. They watch them, but they ain't gonna really watch them like they watch you. And because we're in inner cities where they purposely destroy the gun laws. I mean, New York City, It ain't happening. Any city like Baltimore, Maryland, and where there's a high concentration of black folks, you commonly see the gun laws stripped. But in the other breath, like in New York, you have upstate New York where they're allowed to have rifles, long guns, aka and shotguns. So they purposely disarm the black folks in the areas, and they give it to the white folks in the suburban areas. So what the organization does is we take black people out of those areas, and we actually bring you to an area where you can actually practice your gun rights and actually get you um, well equipped mentally, because the military is in the mind. It's not just guns. The military is in the mind, and we do not want you to be caught out here slipping, thinking that you're in a regular society and you're not, and it makes you an easier target to get picked off. And we will not like that. So we will take you out of those controlled environments, train you, send you home, live your life, you know, no worries. But we will make sure we can protect you the best way we can.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. You know, I feel like, a lot of people that's growing up in the hood, we have not been properly trained to defend ourselves. A lot of times we defend, well, most people, when it comes to defense or whatever, we defending, out of we defending ourselves out of scarcity. We not really defending ourselves because we feel like we're being attacked, and what you're saying is powerful because we're we're actually being attacked, and we have to realize that all of the things that we saying we want to create in society, we have to protect it because that is the job of the police. The police job is to protect public property, and that's what we are to the state. We're public property. So that's why the police has authority over us because that's their job to protect the revenue of the institution. And we have to do that. We have to police ourselves. If we are tired of being treated misfairly, we have to take those things into our own hands. It's no sense of us saying we need to rebuild a black community, or like some people say, protect the black community when we are not properly trained to do so. We're not properly trained on how to use firearms. A lot of us don't know how to swim. A lot of us are not properly physically trained far as hand-to-hand combat. You know, there's a lot of things we just don't know how to do when it comes to combat and warfare. So like you said, military starts in the mind. So that's key. That's key, man.
And I would also like to say when you're finished,
Yeah,
the thing is, like you said, the saddest scenario is for you to ever get into a situation where you can use a firearm in your defense and you don't even know how to operate the motherfucker. that could that could be anything. That could be a shotgun, that could be a pistol, that could be a rifle, that could be a sniper rifle. It could be anything. A revolver, and you do not know how to use that thing to defend yourself. That's where we're at right now. Because most black folks, like you said, they're afraid of guns. And another thing, like I said, that psychosis I mentioned earlier. Again, we believe that if we do anything to protect ourselves, that's going to bring on the aggression more. When really, I believe it's the opposite. If you have enough people on code to back you up, then it's not like that. Because see, the thing is, these folks, they don't want that smoke. and you have to step up, especially black men. We have to step up. We shouldn't be seeing our women getting blown down like that in the streets. Yeah, she may be, she might be, ratchet. Well, that's not the case in the system of Texas, but I'm just saying in general. Yeah, she might be. Oh, you might not agree with her ideology. She may be a feminist. She might shit on black men all the time, which I wouldn't. I would. I mean, I would like to say screw her, but at the same time, she's still a part of our racial group. If you look at other racial groups, they do the same thing. No matter if she's a mud shark, and they call them mud sharks because they sleep with you, because you're the original man on Earth. So they'll demonize them all day. But if you do something to their women, it's a problem. They're not gonna. It don't matter what she could do whatever. Don't touch her. And that's how we have to look at our women. We cannot allow them to be gunned down like that because they are connected to us. Like if they're attacking your woman, they're attacking you. And the fact that they can attack your woman freely and you don't do nothing about it shows how weak we are. You have to step up and protect your women and children. Because if they just continue, if they could just slaughter you freely like that, then it's a wrap. you can't, you can't allow. That's something you can't allow. And a lot, like I said, a lot of black folks when they feel like they, use things to protect themselves, they feel like, oh well, that's gonna make it worse. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's already worse, and you don't even have those things.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of us are more afraid of the consequence than actually protecting ourselves. We want to protect ourselves, but we're afraid of the harsh consequence. Like, it's not normal nowadays like it was back in the day where guys defended themselves in their territories. And that was against anyone, i.e. Larry Davis. He took matters into his own hands and he protected himself. Them police officers was there to kill him. And he protected himself. And he wasn't worried about the consequences. Like nowadays, a lot of us are afraid of the consequence. We're afraid to go to jail forever for protecting ourselves and our family. So what do you think? What do you think happened to us? Like, what do you think happened to our psyche? What what do you think is making us be that subservient and docile? What do you think are some societal factors that contribute to that?
Oh, sure, most definitely. The factors would be the factors would be obviously the crack epidemic. You know, we have a lot of people who grew up and they've seen how the CIA's drugs, because it came from the CIA, it came from the very government. And I think they admitted that actually dropping drugs off in the black community to purposely destabilize it. And I believe they achieved their goal because a lot of people were strung out on that stuff. So growing up, seeing that type of dysfunction, you can just go either way with it. I mean, either you could learn from it, not touch that stuff. You could learn how to hustle it. A lot of times people were damaged by it. Um, and we also have the mass incarceration of our men, where the alpha males, were taking out the home a certain way. And ironically, we blame our women for why there's a rise of a single parented household, but that's actually not the case. There was a system that made sure you couldn't do certain things or provide for them. So you could turn to crime on purpose, to try to arrest you and lock you up. Um, Women just do things to survive. Women are strictly environmental. If the environment ain't right, the woman ain't gonna be right. Period. So if you ain't out here maintaining the community, and somebody else is maintaining your community, i.e., the government, the white man, your women are going to be a certain way. So we had this mindset because I feel like we lost the spirit of fighting and we lost sight of who the enemy is. So a lot of times, because we're in this whole integration thing and all things that's all the events that led up to where it is today. A lot of times a lot of us don't understand the concept because we often taught certain things like, oh well, be for everybody, be multicultural, don't be black first. It don't matter who you date, and unfortunately, you don't have the parents teaching their children through the oral tradition of history and the importance of it and what they've seen and what they've witnessed, and with that void of that information growing up, and then you just got the society over here telling you otherwise, there's going to be, there's going to be interracial dating. There's going to be, saying, F the black community. You're going to have all these things because uh, the control of our environment has been stripped. So when you have that type of thing going on, you're going to see passivity because that's what's promoted. The message of Martin Luther King before when he was on that old integrationist thing, they always thump him up. They always, say violence is the answer, even though we suffer the most violence. So they'll tell you violence isn't the answer, but we suffer the most violence. How much sense does that make? It makes perfect sense. So it's called white supremacy. They can do whatever they want to you, and you're just supposed to sit there and accept that. And I feel like we've grown numb to that, and it's sickening. We shouldn't grow numb to that. And we've been fighting for a long time. I personally believe we've been fighting in the wrong way. I think we had a better chance in the '60s with the Black Panther Party and all these organic groups, but they all got destabilized by the government. And ironically, the KKK is still running around. They're not destabilized though. They're known for burning people at stakes and hanging people and shit like that, but they don't see you as people. You're 3/5 of a human being according to the Constitution. Dred Scott decision. You don't even have a right that a white man has to respect. That's why they can just only kill you like that and violate your rights because they don't have to respect your rights. This is why it's important that we have to learn history, even the basics, because we think, oh well, we have rights, so all we need to do is learn the law and we'll be fine. And the law is what's killing you, and it's making excuses for it. It's not even using the law. It's hiding behind it, but it's not really going to protect you. So you have to come up with your own thing in order to combat that. And again, we've grown weak because a lot of times, we never seen that type of masculinity growing up. Not some of us are gifted with that. Most of us are not. That's why you have the rise of single parented household. That's not to blame the mom, because she can do what she can. Now, inside of that, we understand that there's certain issues behind that as well. Trust me, I do know there's some women out there who are just messed up and they do certain things to put themselves in that predicament. So I get that. But I'm pretty sure that's not half of them. That's not all of them. And we understand that these things, lead up to why you see passivity. Women are submissive by nature, and that's not to insult women. Being submissive is not equated to being weak. And because women are not they're not socialized, or, they're not in that gender to be dominant and the aggressor. They don't not they're not they're not made to be that way to combat the system. They're more conformative. Now, I'm not saying that to insult black women. Obviously, us sisters are strong, and I have to put that disclaimer out there because I don't want nobody to think, I'm just trying to sit here and say women are weak. Obviously not. Black women are the strongest, fiercest women on this planet, and we're grateful to have them. But understand that if you have just strictly females raising our boys, who's going to teach the boy how to be a man? And that's where you got the problem right there. They knew to take the father out the home so there wouldn't be a backbone. And that's the problem. That's one of the main problems right there. Despite everything, if you teach your sons how to be men and you have a man showing that example and he's leading with his mind and his actions and he's teaching you masculinity from a man's standpoint, then you will still combat that system the way you should. But if you got people out here, and this is not a jab at the LGBTQ. I'm not taking a jab at them. But if you got your men popping their cheeks and doing things that is not masculine, you, you're not gonna fight someone who's geared up in boots, trained with rifles. You're not gonna win that battle because he over here trying to, be like your woman.
That's real.
It's a
That,
mess, man.
that's real. That's real. That's deep what you just said. It may sound simple and funny, but it's real because a lot of us black men are focused on, you know, trivial bullshit. We're focused on going out and clubbing and I'm lit and all that silly shit. But we forget that our nature as men is to constantly be aware, constantly be on point, always on the lookout, because at any time, like you said, being a military is also a mindset. At any time, you can be attacked. So if you always in the mode of, hey, we lit everyone, and here comes the shots. Now everyone's running. No one's there to protect anyone. So that's true, man. We definitely have to, as men, get out of this fantasy world in our heads and living in this fake utopia and take our right as men and not be afraid to show it. That's one thing I really respect about the Nation of Islam. You know, those guys at all times show their militants. They're always on point. They're always there ready for anything. They're ready. They're prepared. A lot of us are not prepared, and if you're not prepared, 90% of the time you're gonna fail. 95% of the time. Shit, maybe even 98. You're gonna fail. You're gonna get you're gonna be taken advantage of. It's just like your food basically. In layman's terms, your food. You're food for whoever coming and trying to eat. You food for the wolves. And we have to stop allowing ourselves to be food. And it's because we're we're looking at life in we're looking at life from a bullshit perspective. A lot of us as men, we think that all we have to do is go to work and give up money. We look at ourselves as just financial resources. So we don't spend our time and we don't dedicate ourselves to other parts of being masculine. Being masculine is not just going to work and making sure the lights stay on, and that's part of being a man. But what about, like I said, being able to swim? What about being able to climb fences and being in shape and being ready being ready for those dire situations? A lot of us are not. A lot of us drink a lot of alcohol, smoke a lot of cigarettes, we eat bad, so we really not prepared, you know. So
Soon not.
are you going to also provide the people who want to join? Are you going to also provide them like, are you going to get into like diet, fitness? Are you going to get into that also?
As a matter of fact, I think we have some people who are actually heavy into that in the organization because we have people who come from all flocks of life and have skills to offer. So I'm gonna try to utilize everybody's skill, um, and to better everybody in the movement. The more knowledge is power, but how you apply it is definitely that's the power. And having knowledge just makes you a nerd, but how you apply it to life, that's what makes it powerful. So a lot of times, yeah, we do have things like that in shape, but the main priority is taking people, arming them, with knowledge and whatnot, training them, and having them familiar with things too, so they can actually effectively protect themselves and people in their community. Because we're the only ones that's going to be able to do it. So we do have multifaceted lanes, but the main focus is making sure um, we stay focused. Um, just a minor shout out. What's going on, Xander? Hello, poetic Kells. But we have a lot of things, a lot of skills to offer in the organization. We do, but the main priority is making sure we train. I want people to have the mindset. So in case of a state of emergency, let's just say, for example, you know, the city or whatever you're at, your community is on lockdown for you don't even know what the reason is because that's how vulnerable it is. As a matter of fact, they could just come in and lock your joint down. Nobody can pass. Nobody can leave the gates. They out there with a whole tank. you know, what mindset are you in that's going to help you out that situation? Because begging and pleading, that's not going to do anything. Praying about it, that's not. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to dump on anybody's religion, but that's not going to do anything either. You have to get yourself out of that by your actions, not your words. And pleading to these folks, that's not. They cold hearted towards you. So what can you do? Where is the military in your mind to get you out that situation? Because these people, they're gonna roll up on you with rifles, gear. I mean, you see how they killed brother Micah Johnson. They killed him with a whole android, a whole robot. Like, what do you do with that
Right.
if you're
That's a
not
good
if you
question.
you're not even in the right mindset? You're on some, oh, well, I gotta live my life. I gotta work, and like as you said with the brothers, you're gonna have to turn up, and that's another thing about our brothers. We have to stop objective. We have to stop doing certain things to diminish our woman's image. We have to stop doing that. You can't be out here, dumping on your women like that. And as far as their image is concerned, you know, calling them out their name, feeling like they ain't worth a piece of dirt. That has to stop. Now I'm not saying like we don't have those issues internally, but something like that we just can't be out here publicizing. Same thing for the sisters too. They're doing the same thing right behind us. And niggas ain't shit and all that other stuff. So, you have to have that common respect for each other. That's another thing the organization doesn't tolerate. We don't tolerate disrespect once amongst each other. We expect everybody to put the self hate aside. Don't explode that stuff on each other and actually work together. But all that tribal, all that I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian, I'm gay, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, I'm Aboriginal, I'm not black, you know, I'm this and that and the third. All that tribalistic garbage stays outside. That does not stick out. That does not cover the movement. It's kind of like the Pan Africanist perspective in a way. Well, actually, no, that is the Pan Africanist perspective. Actually, we're all one human family. So,
And I'm really in agreement with that because a lot of times, we take those little nuances that we have, like religion, like sexual preference, and that breaks up a lot of movement. So I'm glad you telling people, leave that shit at the door. When you come in here, focus on the objective. I don't care what you practice in your life. I don't care who you sleep with, because at the end of the day, none of that stuff matters. Really, when it comes down to the come down, if they ready to come get you, it don't matter if you're interracially dating. It doesn't matter if you gay or none of that stuff really matters. So I'm glad you said, you know, y'all take that approach. So tell the people, because I know I put it in parentheses, but tell the people and break down a little bit what is ADC.
ADC, the acronym, African Defense Communications. African meaning we're one family. We all obviously know where we came from originally. We weren't brought on here by, we didn't immigrate over here. We were brought in a certain way and stolen and stuff like that, dominated, wherever you want to call it. We was on them damn ships and we were here. That's that's all I know. I don't want to get into technicalities because a lot of times, brothers and sisters get into little technicalities and they start debating. I don't want to have the argument. Look, we here. We came from one place. So obviously we look like we must came from somewhere that's common. Yeah, your ethnic is different. Yeah, your dialect is different. Yeah, your religion, all that stuff. But dude, we look the same. Brown eyes, bronze skin, wool-like hair. We came from one place. It's obvious. African as one family. Defense meaning against all threats. We do not shy away from defending ourselves, even if that means offense. Even if that means you have to play a little offense. I won't. That's classified. I won't describe what that means. But we do heavily invest in defense, and we do get our training up to make sure we stay on our toes. Communications, meaning that we are able to communicate freely and not worry about no consequences behind it. Because if you say certain things, they listen to you. You know, you say certain things that may come off a little so-called radical and extreme, which that's an oxymoron in itself because it's like you want to call us radical and extreme, but the shit you're doing to us is extreme in itself. So us responding to your extremism, that's extreme. That's garbage. That's a mind. That's a Jedi mind trick, and a lot of black folks fall for that all the time. Oh, are you an extremist group? No, but communications meaning that we are able to communicate freely and we stay connected during crisis. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull up my website. There's also and I trust and believe this is not. I'm not an ego trip, man. Like this is for all of us. This is not just for me. The more we have on board, and the more people we look, that look out for each other, it'll work out in all our favor. So it's just a good idea to go from. But the 4 goals that's listed on our website is, and I'll post this in the chat room if you don't mind.
Go ahead, bro.
Hang on.
Do your thing.
Okay, that's in the chat room. All right, cool. Oh wow, I thought I had to be modded to post the link. That's interesting. Okay, so our 4 goals is to number one, recreate African and Black cohesiveness that seems to have been lost. It's separate. The things we try to do is on an individual basis, which is not nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, this is a team played game. You're being dominated because you're not being a team. When we become a team, we start winning. That's when we start winning. So you have to play as a team. People having businesses over here and things over there, and this group is doing something over here, and you're not connecting. You're isolated. That means you're easily to be destabilized at any given moment. But number one is obviously recreate the networking. Having each other's back. Businesses got the people in the streets. The people in the streets got the businesses. Recreate that stuff. Because we don't have it like that. Everybody's selfish. Number two, we must protect our people from lethal threats. Like I said earlier. Now, I'm not going to disclose how I'm going to protect people in the movement, but we will make sure we protect our people. That's the job in human nature. The animal kingdom understands this. Black folks have been stripped of that. We think there's something wrong with protecting our people, especially our women. I mean, we'll see a black woman get beat up today. We'll be like, oh, well, what the hell did she do? She was probably acting ratchet. And it's like, dude, they're attacking her, and that's attacking you. That's she's a part of you. She's what birthed black men on earth. That's who you're supposed to protect. You're not supposed to just watch her get her ass whipped and laugh and giggle with your skinny jeans and your ass cheeks out, holding the camera. We have to get more proactive in defending our people. We gotta stop standing around letting these people do shit to our people. Because it's going to continue to happen. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing that. Number three, we established a network only for people, only for African people, void of outsiders. So we do not allow, obviously, other groups into our movement. You have to be black. I don't do the colorism thing. Obviously, if you light skin, whatever, I don't care. You know, just I mostly target African Americans, the real ones, the actual ones, the ones who've been here, not the ones who migrate over here and then, they birth kids and now the kids are African. No, no, no. I'm talking about the ones who was actually here, who went through Jim Crow, who went through slavery, who went through, you know, all those trials and tribulations and trials and error. Those people I'm trying to recruit because we're the ones who have to look out for each other because we're getting stifled out. I haven't really did much of a background check, but if you notice, dark skinned brothers and sisters are the ones getting killed. Did you notice that? It's Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, and Terrence Crutcher, and Trayvon Martin. These are all heavily
Hmm.
melanated brothers and sisters.
Definitely.
So, and I believe some of them, or most of them, are probably African American. The ones who actually were here. They're not. They never migrated. And I have to make that distinction because like Dr. Umar Johnson said, they're not posed as a threat. They can be sent back home. We can't be sent anywhere. Slavery destroyed your psychological connection to Africa a long time ago. So where are you going to go? That's why they're killing you. You can't go anywhere.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
No, sir. So there's that. And number four, we stay connected during crisis. So if it's another Hurricane Katrina, this is whatever it may be, we'll be right by your side. And the benefit of this organization is you don't know who's who. We do not disclose our members. And your identity is sacred. Um, we do not do marches. Yeah, as you can see, once you open the first website, you can see it says we do not protest. We do not do that. Who are you protesting to? Who are you protesting to? They don't care. That's not doing nothing for you. It's your actions and your money behind it that backs it up the protest. The protest is just an advertisement of your struggle. But if that's all you're gonna do, then that's not really gonna lead anywhere. But we don't protest because obviously that will possibly put a target more on your back, and we wouldn't want that. So, you know, move in silence, operate as a community, and nobody needs to know what you're doing. Stay out of the media. If a white lady with a smile come up to you with a camera, don't say nothing to that mic. You walk away. They don't need to because when you talking to her, you're talking to you know who, and that's another thing. We gotta stop being so out in the open about our ideas and stuff like that. Like I know it's kind of an oxymoron because I'm here explaining things, but this is just the basics. You don't know what this movement does and how it operates and how we do certain things. How far we're willing to go, and et cetera, et cetera. You don't know those things. You just understand the basics because obviously you can tell just by looking at the website what it's about. So, but we get into that habit of being very transparent, and I honestly feel like we do that because we want the same government that's attacking us and doing these things and that historically and always been doing these things to us to negatively impact the black community. We're looking to appeal to them. We're looking to say, hey, this is the struggle. We're trying to fight against it. Not realizing that they're the ones who's keeping your struggle the way it is. So you telling the enemy all your plans, that's not going to work. You're going to get destabilized. You're going to get infiltrated, COINTELPRO, you know, and they'll destabilize it, and you just won't have a black movement no more. So,
Yeah, yeah. That's another aspect of of war that we don't understand. We think war is just totally a physical thing, but like you said, it starts in the mind, and it also starts with it. Also, what's included is knowing what to say when to say it, and knowing what not to say, because um the way you really know your enemy is through information. So we have to stop putting out the information. We have to stop letting them know our moves, or even putting certain things out there to the point where they can calculate our moves or even may guess what we may do. So we definitely have to be more militant in our communications. You know, keep things close knit. Um, don't be so quick to write stuff on Facebook. I know it's hard because they ask you what's on your mind. So if you waking up in a certain with a certain mentality and you on social media, it's kind of hard for you to not put what's on your mind. But we gotta understand that even social media is a war apparatus. They use that. They use Facebook and Instagram to lock our people up. So these are
Yes,
these
they
are
do.
war apparatuses.
Yes, they do. They'll run up in your house in a minute. The moment you show a rifle on that thing. Now, the white boys, they'll do it all the time. I mean, even if they on a watch list of the FBI, they'll show the gun and flash a rifle and they'll ignore it. But the moment you do it, they'll end up in your house 50, 30 cops deep. You gotta be smart, man. Know that you have, be happy, and just stay quiet. Conceal your identity. Stop throwing yourself out there. So you throw yourself out there, you might not come back.
Exactly,
that's
exactly.
that's just that's just that's just the end of it. You can't be out here, doing certain things like that because you're gonna put more of a. You're already a target as it is. You're black. Every day you walk outside your house, you're a target, and that's just what you have to look at it as. But throwing yourself out there saying, "Hey, look at me, I got this," and the government is like, "What the hell? This Negro got what? All right,
Mhm.
we got you know." We got potential terrorists on our hands, and that's how they look at us. They look at us as enemy combatants. We can't do nothing. Now, the irony is they'll tell you to do something. They'll be like, "Hey, why don't you guys be productive?" And then when you be productive, look what happens. They destroy it. They destabilize it.
Mhm.
So you're gonna be going in a circle until you get it right. And the problem is a lot of our people stray away from the idea of challenging the system. And then what I mean by challenging the system, you know what I mean. I don't mean that diplomatic shit. Let's sit down and have a talk around the table. No, I mean, y'all stand up. Be like, look, man, it's either here or now. We're not gonna back off of it. Stop doing what you're doing, or it's gonna be a problem. See, we have no problem doing that to each other. That's one thing I know. We have no problem going to jail and killing each other. And hey, I'm gonna jail today, or I'm gonna die for my niggas. I'm gonna do all this shit. But you just had a little black girl by the name of Ayanna Jones. She got shot in the head while she was sleeping by a SWAT officer, not just a regular officer, a SWAT officer, meaning Special Weapons and Tactics. That's the acronym. This motherfucker trains hard body to know who he's supposed to kill and whatever he's supposed to do, and understanding the concept of holding your fire. Do not kill anybody in an innocent line of fire. This motherfucker shot a sleeping little girl, a black little girl in the head. That wasn't a mistake. That was not a mistake. But they do it because we got this bullshit out here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to do anything about that. And he was able to walk. So
Man, huh, it's
yeah,
true.
I mean that case is egregious, man. So we have to look at these things and say, okay, something ain't right. We gotta have to get this thing right because you're going about the wrong way. You have to You have to make sure you do things as a nation. Now, here's a contradiction to that. America will never allow. Well, that's a lie because they allow everybody else to do it, and that's another thing. We often get sidetracked and we think because other people can do it, we can do it as well, which is actually not the case. You're not allowed to recognize your slice of the American dream, but everybody else is allowed to recognize their slice of the American dream, i.e., the Chinese man, the Arab, the East Indian, all these other people. They're allowed to get over on you. It's designed that way. So, like you said earlier on DS1, if you're going to build something, make sure you protect it because they will come running. And a lot of times we think, oh, because that's the past, they won't do it again. You're wrong. Because if they're killing you in cold blood in front of everybody, they won't mind bombing another Black Wall Street again. They won't mind it. I mean, these people are bold when it comes to keeping you down. It's all or nothing. I mean, if you get out of line, they're so quick to deploy a tank on the streets. So quick, so quick.
Man,
There's a tank on the streets already.
they even are um doing a bunch of construction in all the big inner cities so the tanks could drive through the projects. That's why they building all these new highways and byways and secret passages. Like people think that they're doing this for um the revolution.
Terrorists, the Arabs.
Right. They're doing this in case they need to lock us down, where they could drive the tanks right through your projects, park it, and everything. They could drive through downtown Brooklyn in a tank. They're setting the streets up for this. So we have to understand that. And the Nation of Islam has said this since day one, since I've been listening to them since I was a little boy, that these people are warlike beings. They're not about peace. They live and thrive in war. That's how they survive. They survive through war and violence, man.
Exactly. And a lot of times we have to.
You muted yourself, bro.
Yeah, I know. Hang on. Sorry.
But yeah, man. Before you come back, y'all go check out that website. That's the website is in the chat room, but it's africandefensec.com. www.africandefensec.com. Y'all go check out that website right now. To my other
Thank you,
mods
brother.
in here, can
And
y'all please share that link, that constructive criticism drop. Keep sharing the website so people who's watching could click and join. I appreciate that, mods. Go ahead, bro.
thanks, brother. And yeah, they are. Europeans and white folks. Their whole concept, like you said, in reality, is to be warlike mindset. We're not in that mindset because we're not in an environment to do so. That's why they purposely destroy the gun laws, and that's why we don't think we don't have to have firearms because we listen to these dumbass Democrats that tell us, oh, we don't need guns because they're evil. But here's the fuckery. They'll tell you that, but when a white person goes shoot up a school or something, they'll tell you, "Oh, blame the gun all day." But if you do it, if you're black or colored or whatever, they're gonna blame your whole entire race, your culture, everything about you. They won't demonize that gun. They'll say it's you. But when it's a white person, they'll be like, "Oh, it's the gun's fault. It's gun laws. We need proper gun laws." And black folks eat that shit up. And guess what happens after that? They practice the gun control in the black communities. They don't even do that in the white communities. they destroy the they destroy the gun laws in the black communities, and the white folks still have their guns.
Yep.
So
They did the
so
same thing with drugs. Same thing.
yeah, exactly. So so we have to be smart about things like that and say, hey, look, we need to practice that right too. And that's another thing. That's why I won't say how many states and I won't say where. But we are national. This is not state specific. We are all over the nation. So, um, we try to just have everybody on board because it can't be a one state thing. God forbid these people start rounding us up, you know what I'm saying, or doing something. We're just going to if it's one state, we're gonna fail. You know, and let me just hit let me just sorry about that. It was background noise. Um, so let me just leave you guys with a little motivation, right? Now, some people are. It's always that fear aspect. It's always the fear aspect of, oh well, what are they gonna do to me? Oh, they got this. We don't manufacture our guns. We don't have our own stuff, and all this other mess. I apologize. But we have all these excuses to why we can't, fight the system. The thing about it is, understand something. Anytime America had issues, they always came to you. Always. I mean, that was the birth of this country at the hands of a black man. Violence is what born America out of the British rule. Anytime they ran into a problem where it came to keeping that union together with the South, they came to you because the North was getting their ass whipped. So they actually, you know, they got us and they started winning. And guess what the North did after we won that war for them? They stuck us right in concentration camps. The Devil's Punch Bowl. They stuffed us right in concentration camps, eradicated a number of us after we won the war. This is what they think of you. But you so hopped up on American juice, you don't see that. You think, oh, this is the American dream. I can do what I need to do. I can do whatever I want to do. And you don't even realize you don't even have no rights in this country. They go more harder for gays than you. You even say anything remotely offensive to gays, you're getting blocked off of Facebook. They have laws in place to protect them, and they actually enforce them. Your blackness don't have no protection, and not even from your own people. And that's the problem we faced. We think this country actually loves us, and we go and fight in wars for this country. We're willing to go abroad to fight in a foreign land that we know nothing about the language, nothing about the demographic, nothing. We're just a target. We're a terrorist on foreign soil, and we thinking they're terrorists. Oh, we got to fight for freedom. Our freedom ain't over there. Like we're doing the same thing the European and white folks did to black folks here, but we're going out in other countries doing the same thing to them with white folks backing us. Ain't that crazy? But
Mm,
the, the same black person will turn around and say, "Oh well, we can't do it." The fuck you mean you can't do it? You do it every day. You go to a whole nother country. Yeah, you have the military backing you, but you go into a whole nother. There's certain instances that you won't get no backup. What the fuck you talking about? So at the end of the day, hang on. Do you hear noise in the background? Do you hear somebody else talking?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I do.
Okay, hang on.
No problem. Make sure y'all go check out the website, www.africandefensec.com. africandefensec.com. Go check out the website now, family. I already joined. Y'all go check it out. Just follow the prompts. Everything is there. If you want to know more, just check out the website. It's there. www.africandefensec.com. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So the thing about it is we've been in every major war, I think, except for a certain war. But then again, they might have lied about it. I think World War I, World War II, where we wasn't allowed to be in the military, but at the same time, I think we were still there. I don't think it was just white folks out there doing that shit. But yeah, I have to brush up on my history. But you know, we've fought for this country, okay, and Every time we fought, we start winning for the country. But whenever it comes to doing it for black empowerment, we're weak-minded. Oh well, we can't do that because of this. It's like, bro, do you realize you're the dominant fighting force on the planet? Every time they run into a problem, they come and get you. Why is that? They can't just do it on their own. Like, what the hell? I mean, like,
Right.
you literally do everything for these people. You fight for them. You lay up with them. You know, you create the industries. You innovate the country. They steal your inventions and then patent it and say, "Oh, I did it." You know, they did so many things. You did so much things to completely drive this country, and you even created the country. Because when we came here, there was nothing here but Native Americans and little resources here, resources there, and a little plot of land. But there was not actual country here prior to the arrival of the European settlers and coming with us in chains. We create this stuff, and then when it comes to challenging that white man, it's a problem. Oh, we can't do it. But they will turn around and blow their brother and sister's head off if they step on the goddamn Jordans. See, this is the problem I have. It's like, yo, you want to go to jail for the wrong shit. Like, it's like, all that toxic, you know, that poison in your head that the motherfucker inundated you with, you had towards your people, but you would never turn it towards them. And that's why, by the way, that's why you have the dysfunction in the community because they want it that way. They keep it that way. They keep those people there. The ones you see them killing is everyday black folks like you and me. We work. We try to raise our family if we have one. Um, we mind our business. Obviously, we're rooted in our blackness. You know what I'm saying? We try to, stay with our own people. We try to work, do wherever we can. And when you get pulled over for a traffic stop, excuse me, you end up dying for a frivolous reason. It's not even a real reason. You just dead. But they don't do that to the everyday hood nigga because they know not only does he gonna get smoked back, but he's better off there. It's more dysfunction.
Right. And it'll be more casualties with the hood dude. Cause he'll probably go out and kill some other blacks or contribute to some other blacks getting killed before they whack him anyway. So it's like he's
It's a
actually
win-win.
doing their job for them.
Yep, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. So when black folks had enough and they want to say, hey, we have a problem. They're killing us out here. You'll have a Sambo somewhere point out the fact that we're doing it to each other, which that is a separate issue. Black on black violence. Well, number one, black on black violence nowadays, I heard it's actually dropping pretty low. It's not really that high as it used to be. But black on black harm is orchestrated by the government. I mean, it's the same thing they used to do with the European Jews. They used to put them down in ghettos, ironically, which America calls the ghetto. In America, the hood, they call it the ghetto. They do the same thing to us here. They give us limited resources. Obviously, you're locked out of jobs. The economy, yeah, black unemployment rate is still high. So they give you limited resources, and you end up killing each other. And people want to relegate that to an individual perspective. Oh well, if I can make it, everybody can. That is false. Okay, it's false.
Facts. Facts.
And it's a systematic issue that needs to be dealt with. If you keep trying to trace all the problems of the black community to an individualistic moral responsibility, you will never change it. You will never solve it. I learned that from Dr. Umar Johnson, and actually, that sounds very right because it's a systematic problem. You can't solve a systematic problem with an individual problem. It's not individual. It only trickles down to an individualistic problem because it affects you as a group.
Right.
So
That whole
we understand.
bootstrap shit is bullshit.
Yeah, that. Oh yeah, lift yourself up by your bootstrap. Listen,
Of
white folks
course.
didn't lift themselves up by shit. As a matter of fact, they were given fucking reparations. If you notice, everybody in the country, you know, they get reparations. Japan for concentration camps. We've been in them. Native Americans for genocide and killings against their people. We go through that still. You know, who's the other ones? It was natives, it was Japanese, oh, and Jews. You know, they went through the Holocaust in Germany. Why are they getting reparations from America? you know,
Good
and
question.
and 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 exactly, and then you got when you look at and that's not a personal jab. I mean, take it how you feel. Whoever might get offended because I already know some people get offended for the randomest reasons. And it's no reason why they mad. They just mad because you're talking about it. But and when you look at what white folks have gotten, they've gotten money for you being freed. They got in the Homestead Act, they got the head right system, and they got uh it's another one. Head right system, Homestead Act. Oh, the what you call that shit? The GI Bill. They got things set aside for them, and that literally created the white middle class. That created the white middle class. That's why you have white folks in houses and in the suburbs, and because they got loans that they gave to them and denied you. And then they want to turn around and say, "Oh, well, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps." See, when you don't know history, bro, they can run that game on you all day. Oh, just save on up and get out the hood. Because that's what we did. No, no, it wasn't. And the people who migrated over here, because those white folks that like to tell you, "Oh, I never owned slaves. I immigrated over here." The moment they touched this land, they gave them free land, bro. The moment they even touched America, they was able to migrate over here and just get benefits thrown at them. But when we over here struggling, try to even get a fucking job, all of a sudden, oh well, stop complaining. Dude, these people are, they're sociopathic, man. And you have to, if you don't realize that part of the game, you're gonna constantly try to appeal to their humanity like you have humanity, and they don't have humanity. They're called mankind. They're kind of like a man. They're mankind. You're humanity. You're humanitarian because you wouldn't do the shit they be doing. Well, now, because I mean, obviously you learn their ways, but
Hmm.
nonetheless, you still have something in you called a fucking soul.
Right, right, right.
so yeah,
Which which
so
which
you're not
leads
out here.
to us, which leads to us being a peaceful people in nature. Naturally, black people are not violent. We are violent to one another because of circumstance, because of our environment and the things that we have to deal with. But like you said, those people that are part of mankind, their nature is violence. Their nature is war and bloodshed and destruction. That's their nature. And I don't think we understand that. We really need to understand that at the core of these people is violence. They love blood. They love that. They love to see people hurt. A lot of those people at the core of these people, that's what lies there. I don't think we understand that it goes that deep.
Nor do we want it to be, because now we have to acknowledge the fact that these people will never change, and we wasted our times here. We wasted our time here in America. We have trying to coexist amongst them without even realizing that they're not even allowed. They don't even coexist amongst each other. That's why they're around you. Because when they did it, when it came to leveraging power, they went to war against their own brother, which is basically the Civil War. The North against the South. And when you leave them to their own devices, you have the Dark Ages, where they're just living in filth and killing each other unprovoked. See, the white man is basically he's the nigga, but he instilled the nigga in you, and he want to call you a nigga. We're basically their bastardized children, and we're basically the ones who take the projection. So anytime a white person says something about a black person, they're projecting themselves onto you. So when they say the black man is inherently violent, they're talking about themselves. When they say, "Oh, the black woman, she's a Jezebel, she's a promiscuous beast, she's just sexually unattainable, and you just have to, have sex with her, and she ain't nothing more than that," that they're talking about their own women because our women don't fuck horses, okay? They don't. All right,
just
so
just because just because that's her pet.
so 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 anytime they say things about black folks, they're projecting, man, and a lot of black folks buy into this. Oh man, we need to stop the violence. Why are we so violent, nigga? There's nothing more. And the black man is the one to be feared on the earth. Oh, we're the most fearful people on the earth, bro. These folks wiped out nations, bro. Tasmanians are no longer here. They're long gone. The natives is damn near fucking extinct. They went to other countries, whitened the population, which is why we need to get away from interracial dating because they're gonna do it here too. They're gonna whiten the population. That's where they just went over there and started raping and doing whatever. That's why you have all these so-called different ethnicities, because it's black folks and white folks in a mixture, but they just have different cultures and different languages and different dialects. So they
Indeed.
they can distance themselves. They be like, "Oh, I ain't black." They can say, "Oh, I ain't black." What is that? And what I do agree, because black is a made-up construct by white supremacy. But they know what we mean when they like, "Oh, are you black?" They know what the fuck we mean. They just don't want to be us because we losing right now. We losing, and we've been losing. We've been getting our ass whipped for a long time. But these same people who have black heritage somewhere in their family or black lineage, they'll distance themselves from that. So you have other groups of women who so-called look exotic, and they got a certain body, but you don't realize that that body potentially probably came from a black woman somewhere. But that woman herself won't give that black woman credit because there's something wrong with being black, and that's by design by the white supremacists. That's what they've done with the media. They've made the world look at us as the problem. We're not. We're not the perpetrators. And
Definitely.
that's another that's another thing about black men. We have to realize that we shouldn't look at our women in a certain way. Of I get it, our women are hot. They're gorgeous. They're fine as hell. I get it, but we can't be out here sexually objectifying our women like that. Um, and also understand that um, when it comes to our women, um, I lost my thought. I'm sorry. Get say what you want to say. I think you were supposed to say something earlier. I gotta recapture my thought.
Yeah,
It just went
I was
somewhere.
gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say that everything you saying is right because what they've done was they've constructed the narrative that being black is taboo. So anything dealing with with being black, black cats, black shirts, black jeans, black hoodies, all of those things are just symbols of that supposed to represent black people, and they've made all those things taboo.
Right, and then also that's that. Like when you look at the word blackmail or blackball or devil's food cake is black, angel food cake is white, black to funerals, white to weddings. Yes, those are all conditioning mechanisms to make you look non-favorably upon blackness. Um, and about a black, I think I was going to say about black women was um damn. I really just want to say something. I totally forgot. Whatever. But we have to learn how to not see our black women in a certain way that they see our women, because we see like we see our women. Oh, what I was going to say was, sorry, I caught it. I didn't mean to jump around. Was that oh damn it, I lost it again. God damn it. I'm tired, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I ain't gonna keep you too much longer, bro.
Uh, but you know, hang on. I'm trying to recapture it, man. But we have to go off air because I have to complete your interview, man. But you know, but this is much needed, conversation. It's kind of redundant because we all know this stuff already. So I mean, I hate to keep talking about the same old issues over and over again. But I appreciate the interview, man. But damn, what was I really about to say? Holy crap. That's interesting. Sorry, but what is your overall perspective of the movement? I'm going to sit back and think.
Well, my overall perspective of the movement is it's a great idea, and I feel like I'm definitely gonna get on board. I'm gonna get my woman on board, and I'm definitely gonna promote this. I'm gonna promote this to people I know. I'm gonna promote it on my channel. Is I think this is very very important. This is another aspect of the community. We have to have this type of institution for us. This is very important. So I'm definitely down with it, bro. So you could go ahead and get your last remarks and we'll shut it down.
Right. Hey, thought, come back. Yo, that shit really disappeared, bro. I had that shit twice. I'm not even a smoker, bro, and I'm acting like I'm high right now, bro. Like, what the hell? Like, dude, that shit was there and it just disappeared. Hang on. Hang on. Um, all right. Well, I'll come back another time. But anyway, we have to Xander put up the face like, what's he thinking about? Yeah. Anyway, like I said, don't be afraid. But brothers and sisters, we out here. We're trying to, make difference in people's lives and get you ready. Now we're not, like I said, we don't really advocate for anything that could cost somebody's life. We care about you like we care about ourselves. There's nothing like we're gonna just, use you up and throw you to the curb. Because that's another thing. A lot of times our heroes, from back in the day, like the Black Panther Party and all these other people. See, they were behind bars. I don't think nobody was really visiting them or putting money on their books and saying, thank you for your services. These people are forgotten, bro. It's like once they go to jail, we forget about these people, and then that's why half the time black folks be like, well, what the fuck about black empowerment? All I'm gonna do is go to jail or die, and then y'all still out here bullshitting, and it's true. And do we look out for our heroes in jail? No, we forget about them. We'll just be on the street talking about free my nigga this and free my nigga that, but we're not actually going to go see the nigga and actually put money on their books because they actually helped you out and they put their life on the line for it. This is why black empowerment is not looked favorably upon because there's really no money in this. You could potentially lose your life because when you really talk to some real shit, you know, you're gonna die. That's just bottom line. If you don't watch your back, because all they have to do is just send one of the little officers and catch your ass on the highway, and there's like 5 or 10 of them. They're talking about, he got a gun, and you don't even have a gun, and they just air your ass out, and you have no backup. It's just that serious. The end result of black empowerment is death, and we have to come to terms with that. Either you put your life on the line for something meaningful, or you die anyway. That's where you're at. Because you try to run from this, it don't matter. You could die today, you can go to jail tomorrow. It is what it is. So even when you don't want to partake in it, you're still in the war zone. So pick up your rifle, and I'm talking metaphorically. Pick up your rifle, and let's get it cracking. Start looking at these people, and I'm not Crip. I just say cracking just because. But but we learn who your enemy is and fire back. Stop trying to sit on your ass and figure out if you're in a war zone because you're going to get shot in the head and that'll just be into you. I mean,
I'm
we don't have time. We don't have time anymore.
totally agree, bro. I totally agree, man. I appreciate you coming through. This is episode 4, Real Spill. My brother Constructive Criticism 69. Y'all go check out the website. It's in the chat room. I will put it in the description after this stream uploads. I appreciate y'all tuning in.
And Also, I apologize. When you guys go on a website and you guys request a password and whatnot, it will be sent to you briefly. Just remember that you must read when I give you that password, you must read the prompt on the screen first before you click that link, because I want you to understand how you're going to how we're going to communicate, and how we're going to go about certain things. It's a two-step screening process. I'm just going to put this out front. No interracial daters. I apologize. If you want to have sex with them, I guess that's okay. That's like a precursor to kids, but that's one of our policies here. We don't we'll accept a biracial before we accept you for accept a person who actually created the biracial. So if you're black and the biggest commitment we're looking for is black folks who even in their ignorance, even in their ignorance of the system, even in their self-hatred, they still have that underlying loyalty to their people, that they're willing to procreate with their people, that they want to think that they're worthy. Yes, we have a lot of issues. Yes, you got sisters out here not doing the right thing. You have black men not doing the right thing. It's hard to try to shift blame. It's us. I don't want to do the gender thing, because you know it's all of us. Not all of us, but I'm just saying it's the community itself. So we do not accept interracial daters. You have to be with a black woman. If you're single, that's fine. If you want to fuck around, go ahead. I'm not going to dick police you. I'm not going to pussy patrol you. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: I don't want that leading to your demise, and I don't want us being dragged into a problem that you put yourself in. Because you shouldn't even be with them at all. If you want to be with somebody else, be with a black woman in a different ethnicity. Do that. Get a black Latina. Get a black Asian, a Filipino. You know, go to Caribbean nation. I don't know, but just don't fuck with them. We shouldn't be fucking with them. They don't understand you like a black woman will understand you, and vice versa. So we have to understand that, because that has been our greatest downfall in history. We've always been trying to mix with these people, and then turn around, they'll they'll shit on us and not want to be associated with us in favor of whites. So we have to stop doing that. That's a common mistake, and we think is, oh well, it's innocent. It's just sex. It's just this. I should be able to do what I want. Yeah, in a normal society, maybe. We've never been in a normal society. We've been under an extermination campaign for the longest. That's why they've been doing so much to us. I mean, killing us through the food, stifling us out of the out of the economy. Keeping us powerless, using the political system to to jump responsibility around so it will never get done. They constantly killing you. They make sure you don't get nowhere. That's why they keep destroying your shit. They're trying to kill you. They're trying to kill you. So why are you out here dating an enemy? I want to know that. It just, if you know black life is being taken at the rate that it's being taken, why won't you just at least have the consideration to say, you know what? I want to procreate more black people on this earth because we're dying out here. Why would you run away from that? You have an obligation. Unfortunately, you're black. You were born black. You have an obligation to the black cause, and we don't accept the contradiction of, oh, I can date white, but I'm for my people. Are you really? Are you really? Really? Okay. So what did that white woman think about you? Going against the white system that she benefits from. What she think about that? Because I guarantee you, she don't think nothing favorably upon it. Does she understand racism like you do? I don't think so. Yeah, they probably might see it, whatever, but still, no, not really. They're not affected by it like you are. So we do not accept interracial daters. We do not accept pedophiles. Everybody has to go through a screening process. Everybody. I don't care who you are. You got to go through a screening process. I'm not accepting anybody who likes doing that fuck shit. I have to see who you are mentally, and we have to go that route, because time and time and again, we think because the person is black, all of a sudden they right in the mind and they for us. That is not true, and history has proven that. So we have to be smarter about these things. Um, but I really can't remember about nothing about that black woman thing. Oh well. But you can finish your wrap up, brother. I ain't gonna hold you.
No doubt, no
Make sure you
doubt.
stay on it. Make sure you stay on the hangout though. We have
Oh,
to
I got
finish
you.
up.
I got you.
Yeah.
So on that note, family, like I said, go check out the website. Join. That's AfricanDefenseC.com. AfricanDefenseC.com. This is episode 4, Real Spill. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.